Is there a way for, Troy, can you just mark down anyone that's attending online too, because we missed that last time?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll put this out.
Mark, like club.
Anyone, anyone that you see, ask them to
Yeah.
just, put in the messaging who they are, what work they're representing. Yeah, you could maybe do that at the start of the meeting, if that'd be okay. Thanks.
Yeah, but he said she's coming, she should bring you where it was.
She didn't know.
Yeah, she can, I feel like a lot of people started in the where it was.
Yeah, I think there was a typo online, it said 124, but we've corrected that now, and we also have our sign up there, so we'll be able to see.
It's also right next door, so I.
Coming, she should bring you where it was. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people started in the where it was. Yeah, I think that was.
You should have that. Basically, just like to talk about description where.
Is that gonna happen then?
No, I had the stream open on.
Oh, okay. So I mean,
Just the other.
And then, I think that's it for you. Because she should be coming in a little bit later. She can talk.
Why can't I type my computer, because I keep on missing.
Okay, well, I think we can start now, thank you,
Actually,
Adina and Paolo.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Okay. Here, why don't you do this? For the battery.
Thank you to the people that are
Actually dying too.
online as well in attendance. I will be helping facilitate this town hall since our president, Alex, is currently sick. And for this town hall, we will also be having some special guests, Ann Isaacson and Dan, around 2 o'clock to talk about academic advising. So if you guys would want to comment on that, you can start preparing now. Brayden, do you have any comments to start this off or?
No, just appreciate for everyone coming online and in person and, yeah, sorry.
Oh, and for the people that are watching this online, could you guys just comment your name in the comments and like if you're representing any organization, just so we know who's here for our records. Okay, so yeah, we can start off with introductions again. So my name is Jennifer Gavino Alvarez. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the vice president of student government here, and my major is chemical engineering. And my plans for Halloween are probably, I don't know, probably just study or like hang out here at GRCC. And then, yeah, I'll pass it off to Maria.
Hi, my name is Maria. I go by she, her. I'm the treasurer of student government and I'm majoring in econ. My plan for Halloween, to be honest, same, probably have to do, yeah, just studying. That's it.
Hello. Hello, everybody. My name is Troy in Cornwall. I'm the communications director here at the student government. My pronoun is he, him, and I'm majoring in photography. And lastly, my plans for Halloween is not much really, just staying home. Probably.
Yeah, we can pass it off to Brayden and the rest of the.
Yeah, my name is Brayden, the president of Campus Activities Board, and my pronouns are he, him. My plans for Halloween, nothing too much. I might get with some friends, stuff like that for Halloween, but yeah, should be good.
Hey, hi, my name is Victoria Deverly Luke, and I'm a vice president of CAP. My pronouns is she, her. And about Halloween, I either gonna go with my brother and support him while he's getting candy, or I'm gonna go to a Halloween party with my brother.
Okay, and if you guys would wanna like start introducing yourself, just your name, and like your plans for Halloween. Please go first.
Hey everyone, my name is Pablo. I go by Ian. I'm a student and I plan on majoring in anthropology. My parents are me, I'm social.
Hi, I'm Medina. My graduation here, I'm secretary of ILC Club and majoring in marketing. Probably go to the,
Yeah, if anyone online would like to introduce themselves and answer the like question icebreaker of the day, you guys could unmute yourselves and say that right now. Or if not, that's fine as well. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so for the people that were not in attendance to our first town hall, we'll just keep this slide up so everyone knows who we are and what we represent. So the purpose of student government is to represent students, we're students supporting students. And I'm not sure if you guys can see all of our names, but I'm on there, Alex is on there, our president, everyone else on our team is also on there. And if you guys would like to follow our link tree, we have our social media and like our other ways that you can connect with us on that slide. I think we also have like QR code somewhere else, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the Community Activities Board, Executive Board. We had some members that weren't able to make it today. We have Victoria, which is our Communications Director, Amelia, our Secretary. She's actually joining us a little bit towards the end. And we'll share some volunteer opportunities for you guys. And then we also have Alyssa, which is our advisor, and then Sheena, who's our assistant advisor. So.
So, for our CAP events calendar, we have a couple of upcoming CAP events, which are gonna be super fun. So the first one will happen this Thursday, which gonna be bouquet making, and it will happen from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. in main campus student life. And then, of course, our most exciting event, which is homecoming dance, which will happen this Friday, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. in main campus piazza. And then there will be another event during this October. It's Halloween campus escape room, which will happen October 31st from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. in main campus ATC, room 120, 122, and 124. So you guys will be very excited to have you, so please come and check.
Yep, and if you guys have any questions, just let us know. And we also have, of course, social media too, if you want to follow us there. But I'll also go over upcoming events. And we also have a texting number too that you can join, and then I'll come send reminders too if you don't have social media. Yeah.
Okay, well, if you guys would like to continue on with some GRTC updates for some events that we've had in the past.
Yeah, for GRC's Cavs Fall Festival, that was a very successful event. We had it, I don't know if anyone was that's attended here, able to stop by. We had, I believe, what was it, like 200 or?
Yes,
Yes.
over 200.
Yeah, we had a lot of people show up. It was a nice event that students could bring their family and their kids to kind of enjoy kind of a fall themed event. We had a lot of good food, hot dogs, elephant ears. A lot of people played the games and just hung out. Student government was able to attend with us too. And they were able to do their pumpkin carving, which they went through all of them, which I'm sure they were excited about and we were happy about as well. So yeah, overall, it was just a great event. We had a lot of good volunteers. If you haven't yet, if you are checking out our social media, we posted pictures up there as well. It was just a great overall fun event. So, yeah.
Yeah, I unfortunately was not able to attend the fall festival, but I know the rest of my team was, if you guys wanted to speak on your guys' experience with that.
Yeah, I think it was great. A lot of people showed up and we ran out of, all the pumpkins. So good.
We had the collegiate attend as well,
Oh, yeah.
which was, pretty cool too. So we all three of us can do something there. So, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that's nice. Troy, were you able to attend that as well? Do you have anything else you would like to add?
Yes, so I might be a little late. However, I managed to join you guys with the event. So yeah, I'm just happy to be a part of it.
That's nice. Okay, so with civic engagement efforts, since the big like event of this year is like elections and all that, student government has teamed up with like GRCC votes and other organizations local to here to promote like voter education and getting students to register here at GRCC. So our first event for that was Pizza to the Polls, which I believe was like mid-September. But yeah, that was outside the student center and that was very successful. We had a lot of pizza and it ran out pretty quickly. We were also able to get lots of students registered to vote that day, but there was also lots of students that were already registered. So that's nice news as well. And this is also voter education week. So if you guys are not registered yet, you guys can. We have some voter like information over there on our side table. We also have some stickers if you guys would like to pick up some free swag for voting. Hello,
Hey.
Spencer. I don't know if you guys wanted to like introduce yourselves real quick or.
Sure, so I'm Spencer, pretty sure all of you know me actually, yeah, at this point, well, actually, maybe not you, I don't think I've met you. But, Spencer, founder and president of the Arts Club.
Yeah, our icebreaker question for this like town hall was, what are your plans for Halloween? If you wanted to answer that, sorry for putting you on the spot.
For like, the actual like day of Halloween,
Or
or
just Halloween
'Cause
plans
we're-
in general.
So we're planning a Halloween party, with the Arts Club and, Standout is gonna be collaborating with us too. So we're planning that, hopefully we'll be able to figure everything out before then. But for actual Halloween, probably just gonna watch some scary movies, just have a chill day.
Okay. Yeah, you can also introduce yourself, David, if you would like, or Dave.
Oh, yes, I'm Dave. I think I probably know most of you. This is probably the name. It's Dave. I go by and I'm the vice president for international language club. But though for the odd days stuff, I've been serving a lot of clubs that have there's a lot of interest in the club if they have land. But though I have the teams that we've been working with stuff that we have planned to, which I believe will be pretty close to us, be very soon to everyone with the clubs. But we're gonna work on bringing stuff that will plan and doing events that we need for that organization to collaborate. So yeah, it.
Well, nice to have you guys here. Thank you for joining us. Right now, we were just going over some GRCC updates. Was just talking about our civic engagement efforts as student government. So yeah, we will be continuing our civic engagement efforts this month and during election week as well. We do have an event planned for the 29th of October, so I think we'll go more into detail with that later. So yeah, and our lunch with Leper was also, I think it was last week, that was super successful. We had lots of people in attendance. I think lots of you guys were there too, so it's good to see you guys here as well. We had, I think, about 200 students was it that attended, so everyone was able to enjoy some food and meet the president of GRCC, and it was just an overall very productive day. And our last like big update is on our Latin Heritage Month event that was a couple days ago. It was also here in the ATC building. That was also very successful. I would say went pretty good for being kind of hidden here in GRCC. I know maybe not a lot of people come over here. I know I personally had a hard time finding the room that it was in. But yeah, we were able to celebrate, I think it was 6 different countries. And we sourced our food locally, so thankful for all the restaurants that were able to contribute to that. We also want to thank the Woodruff Center for helping us facilitate that event. They had amazing like trivia questions, and it was a very like engaging day. We also had, I think they also brought in like salsa dancers. That was fun too. Everyone got up and danced. I remember I saw Maria there too. But yeah, our events have been going pretty good this week or this semester, and hopefully we'll have more to come. And yeah, Valerie, if you wanted to speak over now.
So I just wanted to share a couple updates. These are, one is like pretty fresh off the presses, so. We have a couple things going on, so we just kind of found out that we were selected as a campus to hold a party at the polls on early voting registration day, so that is going to be coming out to you soon through a newsletter and some other information, but that's gonna be themed with the event that student government is doing on October 29th. It's gonna be from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. and details are still unfolding, but that is an event that is going to share information about early voting and voting information. It is a nonpartisan event. It is open to all. So just wanted to share that here and make sure people were aware. And then the other thing is we are also doing a survey right now. It's the Real College Survey. You might have seen this in a news article through Radar Connect. You might have seen it on digital displays around campus and some flyers, but we would really encourage everybody to complete that. It's going to be open through the end of next week. Actually through Saturday. We were originally going to close on the 18th, but we have an open house on the 19th. That survey is important for everybody to complete. It is simply asking some questions about your experience accessing, affordable housing, food, childcare, if that's something that you need, any other resources that everybody needs for day-to-day life, and how that impacts, your education or not. And that information is being used for the Center of Student Life and Leadership to determine where we need to prioritize our funding and our programming to provide wraparound services for students. So that survey is open just through the next week. Encourage your friends to also fill it out. We are raffling off some prizes related to submission. So it can be submitted if not anonymously or not. If not, then you can enter to win prizes through a drawing. There's some gift cards and some other items, some apparel and things like that. But again, that is information that we are going to apply immediately through some initiatives that we're running. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Valerie. And Evody, I did see you come in late, so if you want to, you can introduce yourself to everyone. But if not, that's fine as well.
Okay, thank you. I'm Emily. I am the president of the Black Refreshments here at GRCC. I work here at GRCC. It's been 3 years since I'm here.
Yeah, and our icebreaker question for today was like, what's your plans for Halloween? If you wanted to answer that.
I personally don't celebrate Halloween, but my team is doing something as one of the events, and I won't reveal too much information about it, but it's kind of awesome.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for introducing yourself. Thank you for joining us here today.
Yeah.
I'll pass this off to Maria, who will give her report on the budget.
Yeah, so this is the current amount left in student activities budget. Of course, the number is different, from last town hall because we approved, some allocation requests. And here's a little update. So, there was an allocation request from, Arts Club for 859.99 for their events for this semester. And it got approved, so, yeah, and that's the little update, and we did not get any allocation requests, so nothing crazy this time.
Okay. Well, yeah, now we have some time for you guys to comment. So if you guys have any thoughts or comments you would like to share, either like on any of the events or like on the budget that we have so far, or is there anything else you would like to promote, like Spencer promoted his like Arts Club Halloween celebration, or just anything that you guys wanted to share right now during this time?
Question,
Yeah.
what is the Halloween plan look like for student government?
Yeah, so we will be hosting an event October 29th, which is a Tuesday. I believe it's around noon to 2. Yeah, it'll be trick or vote. It'll be like our vote early day, like celebration. And yeah, we plan on it being a pretty big event. So yeah, you guys are all welcome to come. It'll be on the same day as the event Valerie had mentioned. So honestly, October 29th will just be like a big Halloween celebration here at GRCC. So we'll be having like pumpkin carving contest, so you guys can come stop by. We'll hold like a mini like election and you guys can vote on the best pumpkin. So yeah, oh, and also a costume contest.
Yeah.
Potentially. I don't know if there's anything else that you would like to add.
Yeah, so we're gonna have like, some stations for like voting and like election, just for like education purpose. But also we're gonna have some Halloween themed cupcakes and photo booth. So show up with your Halloween costume and potentially like, you might win the contest,
I know this will be available with the next, for sure.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything planned for Halloween?
Or like any like plans for your guys' specific organizations that you guys would like to share out?
Well, we as the CAB.
Oh, actually, sorry, that was over here.
Well, that's already just saying what you're planning. I don't know where that's all.
So I know we're planning to have a Uno competition, a talent show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
When is that event gonna be?
so for the Uno competition is going to be November 20. It's open to all students. Students have to register for them to be part of the competition. And it's gonna be 40 students that we're going to compete. And then we're gonna pick the best 3 players who's gonna win different prizes. So yeah, it's open to everybody to play with us. We're gonna announce about it soon, we posted it. I made sure I posted everywhere on campus.
Mhm.
So yeah, I really guys know anything coming out soon.
Did you say November 20th or?
November 20th.
Okay, do you know like the time exactly or like the location yet?
Yeah, that is a Wednesday. It is from 12 to 2:30 p.m. And ATC building, same wall. We're just gonna open up, make it bigger. So yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and did you say talent show as well?
Yeah, the talent show will be in the ATC auditorium. That will be December 4th from 2 to 7 p.m. We're gonna have some audition days for people to come, show the talent. Once we pick you, we're just gonna have people come in like we did last semester and have students show the talent. There is a fee that you have to pay for you to get in as a fundraiser.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, and for the auditions, is that like a couple days before or?
Yeah, there is November 10, 10, 11 as well.
Would that also be here in the ATC or?
No, that will be RGF.
Okay.
Who's the judge?
We judge.
Oh, okay.
We judge on the audition, but once we have the talent show, we're gonna have staff, because we don't want the student to be biased
Oh,
towards certain people. So we're gonna have staff who doesn't have nothing to do with student, doesn't know student, come participate and, you know, come up with the best judgment.
that's awesome. That's such a creative way to fundraise.
It is a great way, because you put something fun out there, student love having fun, especially when it comes to competition without doing it. So you have them participate, while also doing the fundraise where they pay for them to participate, and then you win something out of it.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, like, the International Language Club, you have a couple numbers here, if there's anything that you guys wanted to highlight at this moment.
I think we're just planning a very casual Halloween Kahoot next meeting. I hope you have some candy with them, just start.
And when is your guys' next one?
The 20th, so if it's weekend, it's on Monday at 5:30. We do it at RGF game room.
Did you have something?
Yeah, I had a question. My name's Pablo, but, I was gonna ask, so concerning the budget, it does look smaller than previous years, so I was just curious, what was the reason?
Oh,
And going forward, is there, if anybody should ask for allocation requests, what would be like our priority, seeing that it does look a lot smaller?
yeah, so actually, Valerie helped me a lot with this process, but over the summer, we reviewed like all the previous budgets and we noticed that, like past student government and like using their like rollover budget, so like they would include those like rollover money to their budget, and that's why they had like a bigger budget. But from this year, we won't be doing that. So those like rollovers from the past years, we're just gonna like set it away, like we're just gonna put it like somewhere else. So now we just call them like as reserved dollars. And they can be just used, when we don't have like the money for like certain events, cause like the budget is like proposed budget, you know, so like we're not sure if we're gonna get like the right amount like every year. So if like something falls out and we didn't get like the right amount of money, from tuition, we're just gonna use those reserved funds. So basically, like, it's because we're not including those like rollover funds to the budget,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
And, so I don't know if you like watched, the first town hall, but like a lot of students have mentioned that we should like prioritize, like events that actually like benefit the students. So, I think we're just gonna prioritize that, like if those events, if those funds like directly like benefit students, we're just gonna more focus on that, like instead of like, I guess like the internal benefits of like those club members, that makes sense.
Okay, that's a greater population.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a big conversation for our last town hall. I think people wanted to see more like on-campus events that would serve all the students rather than like prioritizing like certain clubs, like trips. So just serving more students rather than like a select few.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you would like to go see the budget sheet, it should be like linked on our last event. Should be somewhere on Radar Connect, and if not, I can like help you find it or send it to you as well. Yeah.
Maria and Jennifer, I think you guys did a good job of explaining the overall budget, but I think, Pablo, were you asking about the allocations for clubs expenses?
Yeah,
specifically, because that did not go down. But this is the second meeting, so they have made some allocations already. So the last meeting would have like the allocations for the year, if that helps.
Do you remember like the number that we started off with at the beginning of the year? Okay. I think it was around 32,000, wait. Somewhere, but yeah, it was higher up. We've just, so far, hold on. Let me just go back to see. So last town hall, we had an allocation request and that was for the Foreign Affairs Club, so that's why that number is lower now. We voted on that and the additional one, $859.99 from the Arts Club. So I think that's all that we've like spent on this year so far. Just so you get an idea of that.
thank you.
I was just gonna ask the International Language Club again. I know that you guys had an event earlier this week or last week. It was Mafia Night. I just wanted to ask you guys like how that went or.
Yeah, it's really fun, yeah. Well, we tried to get people to dress up in all black and sunglasses, but I didn't really work out. But it was still really fun, we had a good show, and then, we played some more board games after. I think people really came, so.
What was it that you did?
We did Mafia Night, we just played Mafia. In the club.
So you, wait, you like pretended to be mafia members or?
We tried.
That's cute.
I like it.
Yeah, lots of creative ideas going out this year. I like it. It's nice to see. Yeah, I can just share some events that are gonna be happening around campus this week or like in the next coming weeks. So this Thursday, there will be mental health screening. I am not sure where that event is at. This Friday, we also have GRCC music event, a band and orchestra concert. Next week, Thursday, there will be a domestic violence awareness event. The YWCA West Central Michigan panel. And in 2 weeks from now, Monday, the 21st, there will be donuts and cider with your success coach. 2 weeks from now, again, Wednesday, the 23rd, a financial literacy workshop. The 24th, which is a Thursday, diversity lecture series with Johnny Rodriguez. And in 3 weeks from now, our event that I had mentioned, our Trick or Vote event. Yeah, lots of exciting things happening here at GRCC. I'm not sure, Brayden, if you wanted to add anything on.
I can add, by the way, yeah, about cap events, like once again, I already mentioned, but some people aren't saying that. So basically, yeah, so the upcoming cap events would be bouquet making that will happen this Thursday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at main campus, student 5 hall. And then we're gonna have also this Friday homecoming dance, which will happen Friday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at main campus piazza. And also, we will have Halloween campus escape room, which will happen October 31st from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. in main campus, ATC, room 120, 122, 124.
And the bouquet making is part of the tailgating party, so it won't just be the bouquet making, there'll also be other activities as well, and food and stuff like that. So it'll be a fun time right before the volleyball game that I believe starts at 6 p.m. So then after that, if you want to go to the Ford Fieldhouse, you can then enjoy the volleyball game after that. So
Do you need tickets for the volleyball game or?
I'm trying to remember. I know we attended last year, but we also were kind of party event by throwing t-shirts in the crowd, so we weren't charged, but for students, I thought it was free with your Raider card. Yeah, I think students are free. If you have your Raider card, and you show it like at the ticket window, I think then they let you in. I don't remember ever being charged, because I've also done it in previous years. I've attended the games and I don't think I've ever been charged, so.
I'll make a scene, the security guard will be tracking me around, like.
Yeah, no, like I said, I don't think they charge you at all for students. If they do, then I think we should look into that, the why. So,
All right, we'll get to that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
and.
Okay.
Oh, Nick just chatted that Display Magazine is now accepting, their submissions for their fall 2024 issue, so if you're interested in
Wait, what was it?
the Display Magazine.
Oh, okay. Releasing that soon? I caught part of that.
They're accepting their submissions, like
Excellent.
right now, yeah, for the fall issue.
Where do you submit, like, art for that?
That's a great question, actually. Currently, they're accepting literary submissions, and we're searching for a art faculty member to handle the visual side of things. So if you just do a Google search for Display Magazine GRCC, it will take you to the website page with the submission links. And if you just reach out to the editor that way, they'll be able to direct you on how to submit things. But the information, the directions are on the GRCC website.
So like, cause I know with like, the engaged writing competition, like the writing has to be from a class that you were in. Is that the same for display, or can it just be any writing?
Any writing whatsoever, any students at any level. You don't have to join a club or be a part of anything at all. Doesn't have to be academic. Can be anything that you want to submit. And then we have a team of editors that are going through and selecting works and editing them for print.
All right, I'll let my members know about that.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Peter.
And so the following support of what Spencer was mentioned, I remember we were concerning, previous week related to the display magazine, concern of a budget was not really matched with the current, with what they had. But, there were a lot of questions that was concerning of the utilized of people who will have access to it. There was a lot of questions that were concerned of is access will be enlarged to student only or is it a potential group, which is not really displayed, but I'm glad that Nick mentioned that right now, that it's not really has to be part of the organization, any student that a GRCC can be participate at that. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's thing that has been resonated over the last week. Full support is now being given. If there is a work I was gonna do on that next meeting or whatsoever. But it was a concern at first with the budget. I don't know if that was a resolution at the end.
I'm not sure if they ever resolved that. I think they said they would bring that up at this meeting, but like, I'm not sure if that's still happening.
But maybe next, I don't know, but it's good now to know it is full student access, which is very important all 3 years.
For sure.
As far as the budget goes, I am not privy to how that information works. But as far as I know, the current issue is paid for and the budget is accurate. But that's outside of my scope.
Do you also know when like the deadline for submissions would be?
Current deadline is November 14th, but we are already talking about pushing that because there's currently no signage up advertising that we're accepting submissions. So unless you have a professor or you're in this meeting, you're not necessarily aware that we're accepting submissions. So that's one of the things that we're working on is getting a poster hung around campus and then having a submission form online. So you don't have to like create an account and add attachments. You just fill out the form and it submits the stuff. But for right now, it's kind of a word of mouth thing. And the deadline is November 14th, subject to change. And then just so that you're aware, the way the cadence works is that we accept submissions through November and then it goes to print in January. So the fall 2024 issue comes out in winter of 2025, which is weird, but that's the way it's done.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nick, for all the helpful information you were able to provide for us. And I'm not sure if Spencer or Dave, you guys were able to hear this earlier, but for this week's town hall, we do have a special guest, Dan Nyhoff, who has just arrived, and Isaacson. So yeah, this year, student government was asked to join the Academic Advising Council. So we've been working with them for the past couple of months. So basically over the summer to just provide the student perspective on advising. And they also had, I think it was like a panel to ask students questions a couple weeks ago. So that will just kind of be like a continuation on that here at our town hall, just to receive more feedback from students and their experience on advising. Yeah, I can start setting it up if you would like, or we could also wait for Anne as well.
I'm sure she'll be very short.
It's up to you, yeah. I just need to remember how this works. I think that should be good for the people that are viewing this online. If anyone would just like to quickly let me know that you guys are able to see this. Yeah, okay, so it looks good to go. Dan, if you would like to just like quickly introduce yourself in the meantime.
Yeah, okay. Well, thanks for allowing us to come and spend some time in your meeting. I'm Dan Nyhoff. I work in disability support services over that way. And I am one of the co-chairs of the Academic Advising Council along with Lee Kleinert and Ann Isaacson. And so what we are doing, well, and Jennifer, what we're doing is we're looking at academic advising through a number of different lenses. We're trying to get student feedback about their experiences with advising, both here and maybe other places. And as this committee puts together some information, we will present it to the provost and to the president, and it will help determine how academic advising may look in the future. And Anne, one of the co-chairs I just mentioned, just arrived. Sorry, didn't get shot here.
Some informational handouts. Would it be appropriate for me to share those?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you so much for bringing that for us.
Electronically for the people that are, that have left or are.
Well, we had already provided those to Alex.
as well as the PowerPoint, but also he's out sick, so if you could send him to me, then
Sure, I'll just send you, it would just be the PowerPoint, these are printouts from the PowerPoint.
Thank you. Your next will be smaller.
Dave, did you receive one of these? We have more right here. I remember I was doing the front sheet earlier, but I would like to do this here as well.
So, like I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, the Academic Advising Council at GRCC is looking for insight from all over campus and especially from students to try to figure out how we can make advising work most efficiently and most effectively for students on campus. And so I already introduced myself, and then Ann is back there.
Hi, I'm Ann Isaacson. I'm the Associate Dean of Academic Advising and our Student Support area. So it's very nice to meet all of you.
And then Lee Kleiner, I believe, is teaching a class right now, so she unfortunately won't be joining us. So the information that we're going to gather today, along with other student forum feedbacks, we're going to compile this along with information from advisors and from different groups on campus. And we're also going to, we're also working with national experts in academic advising to get their perspectives to go over some of the things that we might want to consider or maybe do a little bit differently, some adjustments. So part of today is going over student learning outcomes, which is what you have on the printed the sheets there. So what is a student learning outcome? Well, it basically helps explain the knowledge and abilities students should gain over time as a result of being part of the academic advising process. And so the next 3 slides will go through some parts of the student learning outcomes, and I want to hear feedback from you and see if you think this kind of fits along with what your views of academic advising is or the academic advising process. And then after that, we're gonna have a few more questions. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so this first one, student learning outcomes, identifying all necessary academic program requirements. I'm hoping that everyone can read this and those online too. I'm not gonna read them all for you, but just read through them and see if this sort of fits with what your thoughts are about academic advising.
This all be done before the semester starts or throughout the semesters?
It would be throughout the timeline of when you're a student. So it wouldn't necessarily be, some things would have to be done before the semester starts, but some things just throughout the process of being a student here. That's a good question. So thank you for that.
I mean, I feel like it pretty accurately summarizes my personal experience.
Okay.
With academic advising. It's always been a pretty, thorough, presentation of like what it is that I'm going to be, like what the requirements are for my course planning, what courses I need to take. And I would say the only thing is like, it does feel like, the only information about the course that I've been given is whatever's like available on the GRCC website. So I would say like, specifically like when it comes to what does the course entail, like how much writing goes into it, or how advanced is the math, for example, just like specifics about the course, I feel aren't communicated as well, but overall, I think it's pretty accurately summarizes my experience.
Before you leave, I want to show you something, how you can find some more information about courses.
Okay.
Just look to everyone else.
Good to me.
Okay, I guess we'll move on to the next.
I do have one more question, sorry.
Yeah.
So this is something you're looking to implement, right? Not something we already have, or?
Well, we're looking at what we've done, we're looking at what other schools have done, we're looking at, like with everything, it's good to evaluate whether what you're doing is actually meeting the goals that you wanna hit. So we are just kind of looking at all of this information to make sure that we're reaching all the students and all the students' needs that we can, that we're easy to access, that students' questions are getting answered. So some of these things may already be evident within academic advising. Some of them we might need to work on a little bit more to incorporate, but this is kind of a framework for what we're looking for a future plan. But a lot of these things we are already doing, but maybe we need to increase them or a little bit more.
Also, I would say better communicate them. So a lot of what we're developing are things that we want to find a way to better communicate with our students so that we know they understand the relationship that they have with our academic advisors and how to maximize that.
So this next one is utilize GRCC resources and tools. Take a look at those and see if those fit along with what your experience is or what your thoughts are with academic advising. Jump off, okay, what is it?
I would say that like, so I work at admission office. So I often see that a lot of students don't know that they cannot just walk in, they have to schedule appointment. I feel like maybe this issue just not well communicated. Because a lot of students don't know that they only can make appointment. We can help them, but like to navigate. And as well as I would say resources, which I think is very important to communicate more, and also drop dates for classes, because a lot of students don't realize that like usually you can only drop class within a week, and after that your money will not be deducted back, and you lost, like you only have this short period within the first week of classes, and a lot of students don't know that, and they are so disappointed, so, yeah.
Well, thank you for those. And I can see with the first one, how it could be confusing, because there are some parts of the year where students can just show up. When the Academic Advising and Transfer Center is seeing students on like a drop-in basis. And so then for students that come for that, they may assume that that's how it always works, and I can see how that could be confusing. Drop dates are important, and I agree with you. It's something that students often don't take note of, and it's something that we can find a better way to communicate.
Yeah, for the professors that create their syllabus, I know like towards the end, usually it talks about policies and stuff like that. Is that something that professors usually just do, or is it something that the college requires to put policies at the bottom? Just because I'm curious, because sometimes I see professors put like the drop dates schedule within the syllabus and some don't at all. And so.
Good question. So there is a sample syllabus that the college strongly encourages professors to use, and it does include a lot of resources on campus. I'm not sure if drop dates are one of those things. Do you know? There are certain things that the college would like all instructors to include. And so a lot of those things are mandated. But the drop date part is probably something individual professors might add, but I'm not sure. I'll look before I leave here, whether it's part of it. Yeah, thank you.
And now the question additionally to that, often professors introduce you to syllabus and stuff like that, but since you're already enrolled, I think sometimes it would be very helpful if professor would send syllabus and like how their grading policies, how they grade, what they would grade based on it before like the class starts. Because then students have time to realize, oh, okay, I totally hate this grading policy. So that does not help me, and they understand that class might affect them negatively. So yeah, anyway, just a suggestion.
So to be able to have access to the syllabus prior to the class starting, so you can decide whether this is the right one for you. Okay, thank you. Anything else on this one?
I think I would just say, I feel like there are some students that are not familiar with the Navigate platform, since we're just so used to using the online center. When I used to work in student life office, I remember there would be lots of students that would come up to me and ask, oh, who's my advisor, and like, how do I check that out? I just feel like not a lot of students know how to get there, or they're just not familiar with the resources that are available to them.
Thank you. It's a relatively new program when compared with other programs that we use, and maybe we'll have to look into how information about Navigate and what functions it can provide is shared with students, because it's important that students know how to use it as well. Is there anything specific about Navigate that's been really confusing that you can remember for students?
I think just like finding like their advisor. I think
Okay.
on Navigate, you have to first select the service that you want, and then it will pop up with like who
the advisor is.
advisor, who's the person in charge. Like if you had chosen like success coach instead of like regular advising, then it would talk to you with that.
And some students might also have multiple advisors in there. So for example, I work with students with disabilities, and so we often do all of our own advising with students, and then we also help with the accommodations for their classes. But some students maybe are part of the TRIO program, so they might come to us for accommodations, they might go to TRIO for advising, or they might go to occupational support. So then when they pull it up, multiple people pop up, and they might not be able to figure out who the right person is to make an appointment with. So thank you for bringing that up. Okay, I guess we'll move on. So the last one is determine educational values and goals. Take a few moments to look at these and see if these fit or if questions arise from them. Sense a question over there. No? Not yet.
I feel like we do a good job at least with my program, I'm going to education. I feel like we have a good support for education.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
For me, I know with like my major, it's network administration. Some of the classes, actually all the classes, if you go through like the course requirements and different classes you gotta take, they all say like, oh, you don't need any prereqs for them. You can kind of take them any order that you want. But I know when I talk to them professors, they're like, actually, you should take this class first before this class. And then, you know, and then it seems like there's more of like a different timeline than what, advising has been told, because, you know, they just look at, oh, there's no prereqs, so you can take any course that you want at any time. But then like I said, I talked to professors, you know, I know my first year when I was doing it, I guess I picked a really hard course, so I didn't know that. And so then I had to go back and like reshape my timeline for courses. And so just, I guess letting advising know and communicating with professors of like, okay, well, what do you think the best timeline would be for these courses? I know probably every major is different. So majors, they truly are just, you can take any class you want in order. But I feel like just some, you know, specifically I found in mine is that, no, it should be done in this order. I just don't know if that's communicated enough with, you know, between professors and
advisors. A really good point. When you look at the catalog, there are some programs that spell it out by semester and they give you a flow of how you should take classes. There are others that aren't. Then there are others that sometimes when you click on a class, then it tells you that there's a prereq that's not part of the program. So you might end up having to take some prereqs, which can be confusing. But ultimately, I can see we're getting different information from two different sources about the same program can be a little frustrating, and then you're not quite sure sometimes which one's the right piece of information to follow. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, so basically, the first thing that happened to me was at first, when I was undecided and when I was applying to PhD, I also was going to educational pathway. But then I discussed with my advisor that I was thinking about doing dental hygiene. But they did not mention that I had to change actually my, you have to like include what major you are having. And I didn't know that. And then I transferred from dental hygiene to business. And as well, I didn't use it, I had to change it, I was not discussing. And also similar to that about catalog and classes, for example, I took microbiology, which was the important course for dental hygiene program. But now I'm going to business and I said, oh, would it come to Gen Ed? And I said, yeah. But then when I took a closer look, it was not. And it was, I had to take a different course, so sometimes I'm not sure, am I like going in the right pathway, will I be able to graduate? So sometimes there's like those tricky questions, which, I don't know, get me out of what, you know.
And that's what advisors are here for, is to help figure out those tricky questions. And sometimes when students change their major, the classes don't line up as smoothly as you'd like them to. But that's why advisors are here, to help you navigate those, to make sure that that's a very rare thing that happens, to try to utilize the classes you've taken and make sure, help them fit with the new program as best they can.
Yeah, so, I've had this this problem, excuse my stutter, I sometimes have this problem where the class or course requirements that I have to take for each semester sometimes may not be so clear. And, and basically, I just asked my advisor, what class should I take for next semester or for next year, and she gave me all these classes. I tried to take all of them, and as it happens, my advisor told told me that I didn't take enough required course to graduate, and I ended up taking 6 classes this semester. So
6 classes
Yeah.
this fall?
yeah,
Oh, boy, you're busy. That's a lot of
Yeah.
classes.
I know. Yes.
So you thought you were gonna be done sooner? Or you thought maybe you were gonna finish this fall?
Act, now, I mean, fortunately for me, I will be able to graduate after this year, but what I'm trying to point out is that it can maybe can be a little more clear.
Okay,
Yeah,
maybe break it down by semester, maybe break it down by year, so if the degree is 60 credits, then you'll take this many fall, this many winter, maybe this many summer, and then kind of break it down, so along the way, you kind of have a way to gauge where you are.
Yeah.
Okay,
and some classes that I want to take for my required course as beautiful options, like like one of them is intro to videography. They don't offer that in either winter or the summer. It only offered in the fall, so I ended up signing a course waiver, which is to me is very like it is good for us to have that kind of path for us to go through. So
but it would be nice to know when you select that program, to know which classes are only offered in the
Yes.
fall and which ones are only offered in the winter,
Yeah.
because if you don't know, can really throw off your timeline for when you hope to finish.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Something worth pointing out.
Yeah, I think so too. Anything else on this?
Well, I've heard some mentions of like prereqs, but something that's come up in the courses that I've taken are, I'm not sure if they're like specifically listed as co-reqs to take with classes, but it's kind of implied with like the learning that we're doing in the classes. Like, for example, I'm currently taking Calc Physics 2, and I think online, like on the DRCC website, the only actual prereq you need for that class is Calculus 2, but lots of the material implied in the physics class is from Calculus 3. So I noticed that my professor, like, he kind of has to limit what we're able to like learn, or like what methods we have to like use to learn the material in that class. But I know that's not like up to him. I think he explained it to us one time that like we kind of base like our requirements off of Grand Valley's like prereqs, so that's the reason why it only requires Calc 2 as a prereq, but there are like many different colleges like around the like state or like the country that require like up to Calc 3 for that class. So I'm not I'm not sure how like the prereqs or the co-reqs are like decided. I think under the course catalog for physics two, it says Calc 3 is strongly recommended as a co-req, but it's not like actually enforced, so I'm not 100% sure like how that like works, but thankfully I had an advisor that was able to like help me out and tell me like, oh, you wanna take this before.
Yeah, there's sometimes it's hard to determine what the difference is between strongly recommended and required. Strongly recommended means that you can still add the class, even if you don't meet that, but I can see where that could be confusing, and I really don't know how prerequisites are determined other than through the departments. Maybe Valerie knows a little bit more.
I don't know more. Sorry.
Well, it's important to have them be accurate and reflect what's coming in the class.
Yeah, like although it wasn't specifically listed as a prereq, I'm glad I had an advisor like tell me I needed to take that beforehand, so I would be able to learn better. So I guess it would be helpful like for advisors to know like the little like specifications around certain classes like that.
Thank you for sharing that. So now we have a few questions for you. We've already kind of been asking you questions, but here's some more. With those 3 slides, which is on the printout that you have, do the learning outcomes seem to mostly align with your expectations?
I'm sorry, I have to leave, but definitely no, I did not expect it, a lot of courses to be, I don't know, they were, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have to leave, sorry, yeah.
So it sounds like most feel that they seem to fit with what you'd expect a student to get from an academic advisor experience.
Yep.
Okay. How would you describe the roles and responsibilities as a student in the academic advising process? So a lot of times we think about what the advisor can share with the student. What's the student responsible for? What do you think? Yeah.
I feel like a big part of it is just being communicative, or I don't even know if that's a word, but communicating when you like have questions or need something,
Okay.
because they can't just know that you have a question.
Yeah.
That's not.
Reaching out with questions, that's important. Thank you. Anything else a student should be responsible for, or is it all the advisor?
I mean, also just making sure, if you see something that doesn't add up, I mean, I guess it kind of goes off for make sure you're asking questions, but, not just the advisor watching your courses and timeline and making sure everything's lined up, but also making sure you're doing it as well.
Okay.
And not just waiting, well, they're gonna let me know what I need and when I need it, so.
Okay. Thank you. What about knowing and sharing what they would like to study? So there are lots of students that come, and especially initially the first semester, and so what are you gonna study? Well, I'm just taking my gen eds and then I'm gonna transfer. Okay, what program are you transferring into? What school are you transferring? Oh, I don't know, I'm just taking my gen eds, I'll figure it out later. And, you know, that can be a little bit challenging. What else with student responsibilities?
I guess I would say it's like up to us students to have a plan, even if we may not know what specific like major or degree path we wanna take, just have like some like idea in mind. Don't, kind of how they were saying earlier, don't like expect your advisor to be the one that knows everything, does everything for you. I think it's also up to us to come in with like some prior information. And then we can go to advisors like for clarifications or more specifications.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Have any of you sought assistance with advising or career planning from classroom faculty? So from your instructors?
I did when I found out that I should take this course before this one, stuff like that, so that was my.
It helps you figure out the better flow.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
I have not, I think I've only gone to my advisor.
Okay. This last question, actually, I might throw one in after this, but what is the single most important thing GRCC can do to improve academic advising for students?
Maybe check-ins,
Okay.
just an email of like, hey, it's either they've never met their advisor and it's like, oh, it's a year now into your, academic program, how's it going? Is there anything you assisted with? Or even just on a semester basis, because sometimes I know like it can just get so busy and overwhelming that sometimes asking for help isn't something that you might do right away. So like for me, I'm usually always trying to figure out a solution to my problem before I reach out to help. So them initiating that first, I mean, sometimes that is kind of helpful.
How frequently are you thinking about for check-ins, like how?
I would say at least once a year.
Okay.
If not once every semester. I mean, it doesn't have to include summer if that student's not taking a summer class, but at least like fall and winter, if you're doing every semester, or at least once a year, like I said, whether it be between fall and winter semester. But yeah, and that might even help too if someone doesn't even know who their academic advisor is. Oh, this person's actually reaching out to me. Maybe I have this question I haven't had an answer for a while. Maybe I can just quick ask them real quick.
Thank you.
Kind of like what Braden was saying, I know that the honors program here at GRCC has like a requirement for all the honors students to check in with their advisor, or like do some sort of advising activity each semester. And I'm not sure if like that can be enforced for all students here at the college, but having something similar to that, I think would be very helpful as well. And I think, I'm not sure if this was something that's like been talked about or if it'll happen, but having like specific advisors for the colleges, like if you're a business student, knowing that you'll be talking with someone that's an expert on business courses, or like going to a STEM advisor and they know like exactly which ones, like which classes you need to take. I think that would be very helpful to students and probably to advisors as well, because if you just have a wide variety of like students and different careers, that might be exhausting for them trying to like keep tabs on like every single resource available. So I think having specified people for that could be helpful.
Thank you. Do you think all students need to meet with an advisor?
I think so.
How often should they meet?
I think, like Braden was saying, like once a year or like once a semester. Like I used to be one of those students that was like, oh, I don't need to check in with an advisor. I know what my plan is. Like I know exactly what courses I need to take, but even me who thought like I knew everything, I still had to go to an advisor at some point to make sure that I was on the right path. And I actually learned a lot of like valuable information through my experience with advising. So even if students don't think it's helpful, it's worth stopping by and seeing what information can be provided to them.
Good, I'm glad it was helpful for you. Any other things that you can think of that would really revitalize, change, improve, make better academic advising at GRCC?
Taking from like, what I, last year I was a dual enrolled student, and I feel like I wish that I had I had to meet with my advisor before I could even start classes, like not in person, but maybe like virtual. Because I was like, had no idea what I was getting myself into. Like I kind of did, like with like whatever that program is you have to do online before you can start taking classes, like, so I knew that, but I didn't really understand, like, what's the difference between a credit hour and like, what does that mean? Like, what does 3 credits mean? I was like, am I taking 3 classes? Like, I didn't really understand, but then I got into it myself, but like, I wish that I had somebody like there. I didn't really even know that academic advising was a thing, so I was doing it online, so I just wish that was more of a
So
resource for all students, not just full-time students.
yeah, you bring up some good points. So last year you were dual enrolled, so you were taking high school classes along with college classes. And that's really tough because they're 2 different systems that sometimes butt against each other a little bit because they follow different guidelines and structures. And I appreciate you bringing that up. Maybe that's something that needs to be expanded as part of an orientation for students who are starting classes before they graduate from high school. Because there are a lot of things that are different, and it takes some time to figure those out, and it makes it tough to really dig into your classes if you're confused at how they're set up. So thank you.
I was also dual enrolled too in high school, and I kind of had the same experience as well, going from high school, because I know like in high school, when you're taking college courses, like my advisor from high school was with me the whole time working it out. But then I came to GRCC, and I mean, since you're kind of in that weird thing where, you know, you've already gone to GRCC, so the system's like, yep, he's kind of a returning student to GRCC, so he knows what he's doing, but I'm like, this is the first time I'm on campus, this is the first time I'm fully like a college student, and so like I didn't go through the traditional orientation that maybe someone did just graduating high school, so I felt like I had to figure that all on my own, where you're just kind of figuring it out as you go, and I think at that time too, there wasn't an assigned advisor. So every time I try to meet with somebody, it'd be someone different. And so of course that's been fixed, which I appreciate. But I just know like my first year, it was all like just trying to figure it out as I go. And
it's overwhelming.
Yeah, it was, especially just coming out of high school, it was like all in at once. So, but yeah, like there was no orientation that I'd take. I didn't think I did a campus tour, I think, because this is also 2021, so COVID was just kind of ending. So like, I remember the week before, I had to just walk to each building to figure out my routes for classes, like, because I didn't have any of that, starting with that, so.
Yeah, thank you.
I definitely agree about the campus, like orientation. When you do online dual enrollment, the orientation's online, and then when you come to be here as a full-time student in person, there's no, or even if you're just part-time, I don't believe that there's a required orientation on campus like there is for new students. But I don't know if that one's required either, but I just was so confused when I started this year. I was like, I don't even know where I'm going.
So when you took dual enrolled classes, were they at your high school?
No, I took them online, like.
Okay.
My teacher, English teacher, was also, I guess, like a part-time English professor here. And so the nice thing was we just had to go to high school, and she taught the class just like if it was a college course in person, but we never had to travel down here to take a class. It was all strictly at our high school in person with a teacher that we were already familiar with.
Oh, that's nice.
So it was nice in that sense, but then yeah, coming here, it was really different.
So then when you started here, then you aren't familiar with where to park, where the buildings are, where your classes are, what options available on campus are.
Like I didn't really find out about student life until my second year, stuff like that,
I
so.
think it's because you're as a returning student, even though you've like never been here before. I think that's a little.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Thank you. Okay, we're about running out of time here, so anything else that you can think of? The next steps are, we're gonna take, she's been taking, notes feverishly back there. So we'll combine the feedback that you've given us with, the group we did last week, and then the one from the week before. And then we're, getting feedback from different groups on campus, and then we'll consolidate the student feedback, and we'll continue to ask for more student feedback about this, and then we'll use that to inform our decisions about how this model should be created. But you've given us a lot of good things today to think about that haven't been mentioned before. And then if anything comes to you later, because I know sometimes it's hard to think of things on the spot, you could email aacchairs@grcc.edu, and then that will come to Ann, me, and Lee, and we'll see that, and then we can incorporate that into our feedback.
I want to thank you all very, very much. As Dan said, we've heard things today that we haven't heard at some of our other input sessions. So this will be very important. And our ultimate goal is to create an advising experience that's consistent for every student. So especially some of the things you shared about the dual role experience will be very, very helpful.
So thank you for letting us comment.
Yeah, thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming today.
And I also do want to share that I have really very much appreciated the interactions that we've had with student government. And we appreciate your participation in the academic advising council as well.
Thank you for having us. I'll switch it back to the other. Okay. Well, yeah, this is just time for anyone, either virtual or in person, to just comment on what they would like to see advocated here at GRCC. Like, for example, Heritage Months, like the one we did earlier this week, or just any other resources that you guys would like to see here at GRCC. Or if you wanna introduce yourself since. No.
Brian Stadiger from like GRCC Downs, also Rotaract. Be brother.
Thank you for joining us today. Is there any initiative that you would like to see here at GRCC, like either this semester or the next coming one?
I think something that could be very beneficial for the student body would be, I think, more. I feel like maybe like a Socratic dialogue or something to do with like political participation, because like obviously the election will probably be over by next semester. That's quite clear, but we should also have more. We should have more engagement in regards to like taking a lot of like people who hold different perspectives and dealing with the issue of polarization that we see in the country. I think a lot of students could benefit from that, and also feel comfortable sharing their voices, especially at government town halls, where they would otherwise feel constrained and unable to be able to provide that voice.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I feel like most of the time people only care about like the election process or politics when it's election time. So having that like see more often would definitely be beneficial to students here at GRCC.
Yeah, like a post-election dialogue. Like, let's talk about the election, like what all transpired and how it makes us feel.
Yeah.
I have something.
Yeah.
I'd love to see more like health resources. I know they just, had, a health resource kind of fair, which I heard went really well. It had a lot of the resources. But, I know, when, Student Government Academy went to, Camp Nuevo for leadership, conference or training, I know talking to a lot of different campuses and community colleges, they had, a lot more health resources than I feel Jersey offers. For example, I know some of them, if they had like a headache or maybe their allergies are really bad, they could go to, I think some of them house them in Student Life where they could, get ibuprofen or they could take a Claritin, or they would have for like the sexual health resources, they would have where you could pick up, condoms or any testing, stuff like that, that I just don't feel like GC has at all. I know from personal experience, I one time came here and I had a really bad migraine. And I thought I could just go to Student Life to ask for ibuprofen, didn't have any. I was told then to try the nursing department, that they sometimes give out medication to students over the counter. That department said they don't. So then they said the police department, so I went to the police department. And it wasn't like, oh, let me get your first aid. It was like, the officer was like, oh, let me just get my purse out and I had some ibuprofen in my purse. So, just something that's a more of an official way to do stuff like that. I do know the bookstore also gives over-the-counter medication, except every time I feel like I go there, they don't have any in stock or they're out of stuff. So I know I had talked to some people too, at Davenport, and they have, of course, a whole wellness center with a licensed nurse, stuff like that. I don't know if JRC needs to have something like that, but one of the cool things they had was, of course, they offered, like they had, a bowl on the front desk of condoms. They had then also a vending machine where, it was free for students, but they had to go to the front desk to grab a quarter, and then they would go to the vending machine. They could select, oh, I want ibuprofen or a packet of Claritin, or I need like a pregnancy test or a COVID testing kit. And it was free for the student, but there was something with like the legal part of it, like the staff couldn't directly hand them that medication, but if they were able to give the student basically like the shared quarter, they called it, they were then able to go to the vending machine and pick the medication, and that took the college out the responsibility for that. But yeah, I would just love to see something more like that, but yeah.
I think that's a fantastic point. We're also approaching a period in which a lot of illnesses are being spread around. And due to the circumstances of a lot of students who may not even have housing, like if they're sleeping on the pole, for instance, they're more likely to transmit and like get sick. So having like, do we have like a nurse on campus or something like that? Like a nurse? I think maybe moving forward, like seeing some sort of initiative to get like some sort of health clinic on campus that could provide those sort of like over-the-counter medicines, as well as pregnancy tests and all those sorts of things that'll allow people to like not be out of class more often than not for illnesses or like personal like health issues and such. Just sort of mitigating those results so that the way we can actually like have more students continue to attend and not be limited by circumstances that might be out of their control.
Yeah, that would be really great to see. I think we used to have like stuff like that. I remember, I think I heard someone mention like there was like condoms in the bathroom, but I think there's just not someone like to facilitate that, like that role. I don't know who was in charge of that at some point, but it's just been like forgotten about, yeah. I do know that Alyssa Gammons from Student Life is trying to advocate more for like health resources this year. And I think she has lots of like fairs similar to the one that we had like in September at the beginning of the semester for different kinds of resources. I do not know all of them off the top of my head right now, but, or Valerie, if you want.
Well, they're in Raider Connect.
Okay.
So just, people can go there to see it. They're through the Center of Student Life and Leadership. But yes, Jenny, you're right. She's got a lot of events, monthly,
on different health, and preventative topics.
Yeah, so that will be more resources, maybe, we could contact Alyssa to like start off with that medication. Like offering medication like through Student Life or just something to provide students with resources. But yeah, awesome ideas, guys. Thank you so much. I don't know if anyone online has anything that they would like to share. Roy? No. Okay.
I did have a quick question. We share how to, the dance, how to sign up for the dance?
Yeah, we have one more slide for Cab and I was gonna kind of, no, you're good.
Yeah, I can just go to the next slide.
Yep, and then we can kind of add on to that.
Okay, everyone, my name is Amelia Haywood, and I'm the Secretary of CAB, Campus Activities Board, and right now and all throughout the semester and next semester, we're always looking for volunteers to help us run our events. So, and our main goal is to make everyone feel like they can be involved and part of the community. So if you want to be like a little volunteer in your community, that'd be awesome. So right now, we still have a couple people we can fit in if anyone's interested in volunteering for homecoming dance. We're doing setup and tear down, and then we have this. The first link on there is like it's also available on the agenda and on Raider Connect page and on our Instagram. So it's if you follow us on anything, you can find it. We have a job description for what you will be doing as a volunteer, and then we also have a sign up form, which is that QR code that you can scan and just fill out some general information about like what you are interested in volunteering in, and you also get some free swag you can volunteer with us. So yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of good perks, being volunteer. I know our fall festival was our first big like volunteer event, and I mean, I feel like from our feedback, right, it was great. Yeah, it was just a great way to kind of get out and be part of our group and help facilitate some of that stuff. And yeah, I mean, if you follow us on Instagram, you can see a lot of those photos as well. It was overall great, but do you have anything more to add to that? Or? Okay. Any questions on the volunteer stuff? Yeah.
I just wanted to add as well that, maybe if you're unable to attend the volunteer member cab, Rotaract is always, as a volunteer organization, internationally based, like business leaders from around the world participate in it, and we're always looking for people to come assist us with volunteer opportunities. I believe we're doing one with the Ronald McDonald Foundation, if I recall correctly, which is like obviously associated with McDonald's, as well as we did like a river cleanup prior. And like last year, we would help out with the Blandford Nature Center, like trimming hedges and trimming vines from fences and such. So that's always a great club to reach out with if you're part of the honors program, need volunteer hours, or if you need a opportunity to network amongst business leaders, that's one as well. So I'm gonna throw it out there.
Thank you. One last thing too, we wanted to add, as Vika shared earlier in this meeting of the upcoming events we have tomorrow, the tailgating party, we're having the flower bouquet making. But then Friday with homecoming dance, we forgot to mention the RSVP process. It's not going to be through the typical Raider Connect RSVP process on there. There is, though, if you go to Raider Connect, 2 QR codes. One's going to have an FAQ document, which are some questions that students usually always have about the dance. Is it, what's the price? It's free, parking, stuff like that. Also just what it all entails. And then also too on Raider Connect, there's another QR code that has the RSVP form that'll bring you to that you can go ahead and fill out, and you can bring any guests, or any student can bring any guests as well. They don't have to be a student to the RCC. But I know last year, if some people are returning, we did like a ticket system, stuff like that. We aren't doing it like that compared to last year. But we still would like to have people RSVP because that just helps us with ordering food, and also how many people to expect for that. So, but yeah, it is free. And I know looking at it, we do have close to 200 people are already RSVPing, so, we're pretty excited. We think it's gonna be a great night, and we encourage everyone to attend if they can.
And is there like a capacity capacity limit for the dance or no? Because last semester there was.
Right, so there, I mean, of course, there is still just due to fire code, but however, we have found out from the two previous homecoming dances, we do find that some students will RSVP, but then maybe something comes up and they don't show up. So for example, I think last year we had like 250 people RSVP, but we only had 150 actually show up. And so when we did it last year, where we did kind of enforce that capacity, you know, I think we were doing ticket sales, or not sales, but promoting it, to pick up tickets, stuff like that for 3 days. We had then officially said, you know, we sold out because we felt like we had reached that mark with the RCPs. However, again, when it was actually the day of, we only had like 150 people show up. So we're being a little bit more relaxed because we do expect probably not everyone who did RCP is gonna be able to show up. So, yeah, and of course too, if people don't RSVP right away, or, you know, maybe they forget, but they're like, I still don't wanna go, it's the day of, you're still welcome just to kind of show up, and head in. We just ask to either bring a radar card or some sort of identification, just so we can get attendance, because we do like to keep track of our numbers for people who attended, so. Yeah. Any other questions about the dance?
I do not have any.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, oh, I have one. So what, do you guys know what's gonna be excuse me.
No, you're at dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, we are doing, a variety of sandwiches, so I believe like, it's one turkey, one ham, right?
Turkey, ham, and veggie.
Veggie, yep, as well for a vegetarian option. We will also be having, what are those cookies called, like a macaroon, I think it's called, right?
Macaroon, yeah.
Yeah, macaroon, we'll have a variety of macaroons. Also, of course, you know, bag of chips, and then there'll also be assorted fruits that, you can dip into a chocolate fountain as well. So yeah, a lot of good food as well. But we are, again, it's gonna be in the piazza, which is in the same building of the ATC. If you look at our FAQ document, there'll be a map to kind of help guide students if you've never been back there. It is also back where the Heritage restaurant is, well, that will be where the food is hosted. And of course, too, if you show up the day of, we will have maps and signage everywhere. So should be pretty good finding your way back. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing. Yeah, with that, I think we can wrap up a couple minutes early. So thank you to everyone that was able to join us in person, and thank you to everyone that was able to tune in online. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that you would like to say, Brayden.
No, I think that's about it. I just know, our next meeting, the date for that is, I forget the top of my head. I just wanted to remind everyone what our next meeting was. November 13th. Yeah, so our next meeting is gonna be November 13th, and that is gonna be in RJF Hall in room 108, 109. So, we're hoping again, you guys can join us, and, yeah. That's about it. Yes, thank you for all who attended online and in person, so. Right.